Hey there, folks. Scottsdale Travel Chick Sidekick, here to present our visitor guide on the top things to see and do on the north side of Kauai Island. Many of you may be coming here from our overall ultimate guide to Kauai, so welcome. This video will be a more detailed breakdown of all the top sites on the north side of the island, covering things like costs, hours of operations, secret tips, and more. And I'll touch on even more sites than our ultimate guide. For those of you who haven't come from watching our ultimate guide to Kauai, I'd recommend starting there first to get a better feel for the overall island, the best areas to stay, the best times to visit, and more. Finally, if you're wondering about all the South Island sites, then check out our partner guide to this one, Kauai, the South Island Guide. That guide will publish next within 2 weeks of this one. Okay, with all that out of the way, grab some popcorn, sit down, and let's get going. First up, starting at the very north end of the island's coast road in the Haena-Princeville area, there are more than a dozen great sites to consider. One of the biggest is Haena State Park at the very end of the road. And the headliner here is the beautiful and famous Kilauea Trail. It's an 11-mile one-way hike out along the beautiful Nepali coast. However, the vast majority of people only hike the first couple miles to Kauai Beach. A few more of these folks will hike another 2 miles to Kauai Falls, a beautiful 300-foot waterfall deep in the jungle. Unfortunately, anything beyond these two sites requires an additional fee for an overnight camping permit, whether you stay overnight or not, so this prevents most people from heading out further down the trail. If you're not interested in hiking, there's the beautiful Kauai Beach, just a short walk from the park entry. It's said to be one of the most beautiful beaches in all the islands. Now, the bad news on Haena State Park. Entering the park has become expensive and difficult over the years, and here's why. The entry fee isn't bad at just $5 per person, but you also must buy either a $10 vehicle parking pass or a $30 per person shuttle bus ticket. The problem is you can only book online, and the $10 vehicle pass for parking inside the park sells out almost immediately 30 days out. So, if you're not watching this guide and making plans early, you will most certainly be left with paying $70 a couple and even more for a family just to enter the park and taking a shuttle bus to get there. In addition, you also must reserve a specific shuttle bus time slot. So, if you're coming from the south side of the island, give yourself plenty of time to make sure you don't miss your slot. All these difficulties certainly make things less spontaneous. So our honest recommendation here is to skip this park. There are so many other great hikes and beautiful beaches around Kauai that you won't really miss it at all. Just outside Haena State Park is Limahuli Gardens. Limahuli is open 5 days per week, Tuesday through Saturday, and the entry fee is $25 an adult, with children under 12 free. Parking is included with your entry fee here, and they offer both a 1.5-hour self-guided tour as well as a 2.5-hour guided group tour, which leaves promptly at 9 a.m. And note that this tour requires an advance reservation online. Moving east from these gardens and Haena State Park, there are 2 great beaches of many on the North Shore, Haena Beach and Tunnels Beach. Parking is tight for both these beaches with only a small parking lot at Haena and parking along a small access road for Tunnels. If you can find a spot, it's definitely worth your time to stop and walk between the 2 beaches and maybe take a dip. Tunnels has some of the best snorkeling on the island. And this is Haena Beach, and turning to the right down here connects to what they call Tunnels Beach, which doesn't have much parking, so you could really walk from here. Directly across the street from Haena Beach's parking lot is Minini Holo Cave. It's only about 300 foot deep and nothing spectacular inside, but it's worth a quick look around and it's a cool destination for kids. Anyway, it's free and it only takes 10 minutes, so may as well do it. Where you at, babe?
What? Stop talking. Turned off. Why do you say that?
Where you at?
Stop it.
Where you at?
I don't know the name of it.
Oh, what does it look like?
It looks like a cave.
Okay, we're at a cave.
Quiet.
A bit further down the road, moving east, is one more beach before you get to Hanalei Village, Lumahai Beach. For you older folks, you just might recognize it as it was the beach made famous in the 1957 movie called South Pacific. It's a large and beautiful beach, but on a serious note, it's also known as one of the most dangerous beaches for swimming, so do be careful if you decide to take a dip. Just so you know, the locals sometimes call it Lumadai Beach. Pro tip here, the Lumahai River enters the ocean here, so there's both river and ocean beach access. And there's both a small rope swing for kids on the riverside, as well as a more dangerous cliff jump into the ocean if you look for it. Now, after that third beautiful beach, you'll continue east to Hanalei Valley. Here, you'll find the small village area of Hanalei and all its surrounding charms. The village is a good place to stop for a bite and to explore while you map out all the other things you want to do in the area. Here are just a few. First up is famous Hanalei Bay and its historic pier. The pier was built in 1892 to support the growing rice industry in this area and has long been a favorite gathering place for locals. Today it's a top pick for watching the sunset and definitely worth checking out in general. Waioli Huia Church is another historic site to consider. Completed in 1841 by Christian missionaries who settled in the area to preach and educate local Hawaiians, it's still active today and guests are welcome to attend Sunday services. Finally, if you're coming through the area nearer the evening, then also consider a meal at Tahiti Nui and possibly its luau. There's great food and Hawaiian music every night, and they have their famous luau on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. The cost is $125 per person. Check out their online schedule for updates and changes. Next up, as you drive out of Hanalei and through the Princeville area, there are two awesome lookouts just east of town as you head up the hill, Hanalei Bay and Hanalei Valley. Hanalei Bay looks out over the crescent-shaped bay in all its glory. Pro tip though, it's best to stop here on your way going west, as it's difficult to cross the road and park if you're coming from the east. Hanalei Valley Lookout is right next door, and it's the second one with a bigger parking area and some informative signs. And this one looks towards the interior mountains and the lush valley below. If the sight of this valley excites you, perhaps you'd like to go for a hike there. If so, then try out Okalihaho Trail. It's a 2.5-mile one-way trail that takes hikers up into a verdant jungle and mountain area overlooking the Hanalei Valley. The hike gets progressively more difficult as you go up towards a 1,200-foot summit area, so it might not be the best for small kids, but there are two great lookouts along the way, with the first one being only 10 to 15 minutes in. Now, after all the Hanalei sights, it's time to continue your drive east to Anini Beach. Anini boasts the longest and widest fringe reef in the Hawaiian Islands. It's maybe not much to look at from the shore, but it's what's underwater that counts here. It's probably the best beach on the island for calm, scenic snorkeling, and windsurfing is popular here too. But even in the winter months, this area remains calm due to the fringe reef protecting it. And it's 2.5 miles long, so you can always find a private space. Finally, there's one more family-friendly hike to consider on the North Shore, Waikoa Loop. It's a relatively flat 5-mile hike past a number of lush farms, tranquil lagoons, a historic dam and waterfall, and the largest mahogany plantation in North America. The entire trail is on the 500-acre Waikoloa Plantation, a working farm on private land. Continuing to move east, you'll next come to the Kilauea area. Here again, there are a half dozen or more things to check out. Secret Beach is a good one. It's a great beach, but you'll also need a short, steep, but scenic hike down a ridge to get there. It's not an easy-peasy walk, but if barefoot surfers can do it, so can you.
Where you going, babe?
We're gonna go down to Secret Beach. And so you just follow this trail down here, I think.
It's a little bit secret, but there's quite a few cars in this parking lot, so not too secret.
At the bottom is a great two-sided beach with minimal people, and a view of the Kilauea Lighthouse in the distance is a nice bonus. Next up is the Kilauea Lighthouse and Wildlife Refuge. Here you can visit a historic lighthouse atop a 570-foot ocean bluff, and the surrounding wildlife refuge area also contains thousands of migratory birds, such as the red-footed booby and Laysan albatross. It's open daily from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and the entrance fee is only $10 per adult, 16 and older. Bookings must be made online. After the lighthouse comes a few more beaches, starting with Molaa'a Beach, and one attraction that's not a beach. Molaa'a is another scenic beach and one of our favorites. It's smaller and with limited parking, but it feels very tropical. Beyond its beauty, what's special about this beach is that it was used as the backdrop for a very popular 1960s TV show.
We are at Molaa'a Beach. This is a very famous beach because this is where they filmed Gilligan's Island, one of my favorite shows growing up.
Taking a break from all the beaches, next up is Garden Island Chocolate Farm. It's currently open 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and the cost is $99 per person for a 3-hour tour starting at 9:30 a.m., which includes a multitude of chocolate tastings. Bookings are made online, and space available can also be done in person. After Garden Isle Chocolate, you'll continue your way down the scenic East Coast and have 3 more beaches to consider: Papa'a Beach, Anahola Beach, and Donkey Beach, all of them scenic in their own way. First up from the north is Papa'a Beach. This beach requires a short 5 to 10 minute hike down a steep hill with a bit of bouldering at the end. Perhaps this is good and bad, because if you make it, the odds are good you will have the whole place to yourself. 2 fun facts about this beach. There is only one house on this beach, but it's a doozy. It's the most expensive house on Kauai and last sold for $28 million. Fun fact number 2, this beach was used in the plane crash scene in the movie 6 Days and 7 Nights with Harrison Ford and Anne Heche. Anahola Beach is next, and it's different from Papa'a. It's a bit more busy, especially on weekends, and has a staffed lifeguard station, and a river too. Plus, if you have a 4x4, you can even drive out onto this beach. Finally, Donkey Beach is the last beach coming into Kapa'a town, and it can be reached by either car or the Kapa'a Coastal Bike Trail, which I'll talk about in a bit. Either way, it's a mostly deserted beach, which you will likely have all to yourself. It's not great for swimming, but if you're looking for a scenic, windswept beach for a nice walk or a picnic, this could be it. And as a bonus, there's a cool tree tunnel to explore as well. Pro tip, just a bit further south from this Donkey Beach is an interesting bit of Kauai history called a pineapple dump. I might call it a bridge to nowhere because it looks like it. If you walk there, you can read some interesting interpretive signs about what it was once used for.
Bridge to nowhere. It's actually called a pineapple dump. And back in the days, they would take the rinds and all the other waste from all the pineapple processing, bring it down here in a big train side loading rail car and dump it all into the ocean.
Finally, near the center of the Coconut Coast, we come to the town of Kapa'a and the Wailua River Valley. There's a lot to see and do in this area, and you can definitely spend a couple of days just hitting all the sites I'll mention next. But before I cover all those Kapa'a sites, just a quick break here to say if you're enjoying this video, please give us a thumbs up, maybe leave a nice comment, forward it to a couple of your friends, and please consider following our channel for more fun, informative videos just like this one. Okay, let's talk about Kapa'a. Kapa'a Town is the main tourist town on the East Coast, and it's a great place to center yourself on the island, as there are many things a short drive from town, and you are equal distance between the north and south shores. One of the best things to do in this area is the Kapa'a Coastal Trail, especially for families. It's free. It's one of our top 3 recommendations to do in the island. You can rent bikes at multiple places around town or even directly along the trail itself. The Kapa'a Coastal Trail is a 10-mile paved one-way path which runs from the Wailua Golf Course in the south all the way up to Donkey Beach in the north. It's mostly flat and easygoing, and along the way you'll pass multiple hotels, resorts, restaurants, as well as food trucks, shave ice vendors, family-friendly beaches, and more. And just a pro tip here related to Hawaii's favorite treat. Tourists sometimes call it shaved ice, but Hawaii's sweet treat is actually called shave ice without a D. And if you want a recommendation, we think JoJo's is the best. They are local and have multiple locations all around Kauai. As you head north out of Kapa'a Town on this trail, it gets particularly scenic, winding by various beaches which get progressively more and more remote. And if you watch the coast and beach closely, you're bound to see whales, dolphins, and maybe even a friend like this.
And is my little seal friend still here? Yes, he is. He's right there. Pretty cool.
Beyond the scenic coastal trail, there are a number of other great hiking trails in this area. Probably the 2 most popular here are Ho'opi Falls and Sleeping Giant. Ho'opi Falls Trail is a shorter 2.4-mile round-trip hike through the rainforest to Ho'opi Falls. It's a beautiful hike and great for families, and you get to hike through an area used in the Jurassic Park movies. The Sleeping Giant is a bit more challenging. Sleeping Giant is actually the mountain most visible from around Kapa'a, and it's officially named Now Now Mountain. You can start this hike from either the west or east sides of the mountain. The west side is harder to get to, but has 2 additional bonuses in that it's the shortest option, and you get to hike through a unique forest near the beginning. All trail options meet at some point on the mountain before the 1,500-foot summit. But be aware this hike is muddy and steep in places, but you don't have to go all the way to the top to get great views. Just go as far as you feel comfortable and turn around once you've had enough.
All right, we've climbed up the Sleeping Giant's spine, But I think the rest of it, we have to go up there to his head. All right, Scottsdale Travel Chick. You just did the Now East Trailhead. How was that? On a scale of 1 to 10 for difficulty, what would your Scottsdale Travel Chick score be?
I would say probably an 8 or 9 if you're a non-hiker.
Okay.
And probably a 6 for a hiker.
What are you?
I'm a non-hiker.
And then how about for beauty and benefit?
It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Does it give it a 6 or a 7 or 8? Or?
I'd give that a 10.
Really?
Views of the entire valley and the ocean. Yeah.
Alrighty.
And by the way, I have hiker legs. Because look, I am covered in mud.
That means you're a professional hiker. Okay.
Right.
Fine.
If you have some smaller kids, then Lidgate Park is something you'd want to consider. It's a big park to explore with a huge jungle gym thing and a unique sheltered area of the ocean which is safe for kids to play and explore. Also, there are some ancient Hawaiian ruins, Haena, I think they're called, on the north side of the park. Finally, there's another chocolate tour to consider at Lidgate Farms. Tours are offered weekdays 2 times a day at 8 and either 10 or 11. You can book online and the cost is $125 a person or $95 for kids 12 and under. This Kapa'a area also offers up a number of popular sites along the Wailua River Valley. One is the Wailua Heritage Trail. It's a driving tour you can do to visit various significant sites in the area. The drive will take you about 4 hours to hit them all, and is a nice scenic activity just by itself. Along the way, among the many sites, are the Opaika Falls and Kauai's Hindu Monastery. Opaika Falls are 150-foot waterfalls visible from a viewing platform along the road. In the Hindu Monastery, it is worth a stop to explore the 382-acre compound, which contains 2 traditional Hindu temples and many granite mortis. Hindu pilgrims have been coming here for over 40 years, and the monastery is open to visitors daily, but only till noon, so be sure to get there early if you want to explore it all. The drive continues through beautiful Kauai backcountry with great views of the interior mountains and finishes at the Keihua Forestry Arboretum. This is a free area, but it's remote, and it offers up some short paths through unique monkey pod, mango, and rainbow eucalyptus trees, along with some freshwater swimming holes to explore. Plus, several of the island's popular hikes are here as well. One is the Kilauea Ridge Trail. It's a 3.5-mile hike up along a ridge, leading to some beautiful views of Kauai's interior. Wailua River Cruise to the Fern Grotto is another popular tour to do in this area, where a boat will take you on a 2-mile cruise up the river with local Hawaiian songs and stories to be had along the way. Then at the end, you'll visit the famous Fern Grotto. Cruise tours are $30 for adults, $15 for children, and check their website for more booking details. One more option on the river is kayaking, then doing a short hike to Secret Falls. This is typically a guided tour, but you can do it yourself just by renting a kayak. And if you do, our pro tip is to do it on the weekends when the guided tours are not operating. You'll have the place almost to yourself. Finally, it's a separate drive to get there, but Wailua Falls are another top site on the island. And they're the signature waterfalls of Kauai. They're beautiful. Just look at the drone shot I took. But in reality, there's not much to do in the area once you get there. But anyways, these are the signature falls of Kauai, so I guess you have to see them, right? Last but not least, if all that hiking, kayaking, and exploring is making you hungry, then another entertainment option here is the Smith Tropical Paradise in Family Luau. This place is perhaps the most popular luau on the island, and it's big, typically seating 300 to 500 people. Times vary by season, so check their website for more information and booking details. But what better way to end or start your visit to Hawaii than a delicious meal served with great Hawaiian entertainment in a beautiful outdoor setting. Okay folks, with that, the rest of the sites further south are covered in our sister video, Kauai, the South Island Guide. Be sure to check that one out too. And if you want the whole shebang in one concise overview video, then check out our top-rated overall guide, The Ultimate Guide to Kauai. So, how'd we do? Did we miss any of your favorites? Or maybe you have a secret tip you'd like to share with others? Please let us know in the comment section below, and please keep following us for more fun, informative travel videos just like this one.
Until next time, see you later.